Hello everyone, this is my weekly video. Let's take a breath because this is going to be a bumpy one. One more time, in through the nose. Hold it. Exhale. Okay, so the reason I'm saying this is going to be a bumpy one, if you notice, the labeling of this video is Black Lives Matter / pandemic, mental health, recovery, and addiction. And I really want to focus on Black Lives Matter. COVID's not doing so great these days in California. The numbers going up. There's some threat that we'll go to red, which is something different. We didn't even have codes before. So things are changing as we're going along. So, yeah, that's the condition of COVID. And I'm telling everyone, which I want you all to understand, that our entire lives are colored by COVID. I'm describing it as COVID colored. I smile only because it would be so sad if I didn't. I always say you couldn't have written the script in a million years, but here we are, trying to stay above all the trauma, trying to stay above all the depression, just trying to be in our skins right now. And as you always hear me say, deep breathing, mindfulness, grounded. Grounding is a technique I may not talked about. Basically, it's noticing the colors of your wall, the texture of your skin, the smells in your area, the taste within your mouth, things that you're listening to. So that keeps you grounded, keeps you in the moment, as opposed to in this futuristic, fatal outcome, which, I think it's just a human condition. It's always going to be the worst. So yeah, that's another technique that you can use. So keeping this 10 minutes, no longer. I was thinking Black Lives Matter, why am I not bothered by that? And first of all, my life has always mattered and I've always been black. So that's one reason why it's not, let's say, high on the scales of my issue. I mean, it's good to see other people buying into our cultural pain and our cultural experience. However, it's been something I've lived with from the time I was born. With that said, for those of you that don't know, I was raised in Baltimore, Maryland, which is a difficult place to live. And I've done a lot of work on this. So, I've been diagnosed as post-traumatic stress disorder. Acute, not chronic, but it all mostly developed from that experience of being a black, gay male in a majority black city. I mean, Baltimore, when I was raised up, was about 99% black. And some of the trauma I experienced was at people who look like me. Now, granted, everyone who's going through experiences that I've gone through do not develop PTSD. However, that is my reality. So I would like for you to engage me a little. If it upsets you a little bit, I think that's good. However, just know that it's my experience and my experience only. So with that said, I ran from the black community unknowingly and unconsciously. Let's say I ran from the pain, and the pain was associated with people that look like me, from my neighborhoods to my schools to my parents. Any pain I experienced came at the hands of them. I had anxiety. I remember living on my street corner, and I was afraid to go to the store because most of the time when I went to the store, I most likely would end up getting beat up. Going to school, I would most likely ended up getting beat up. I remember one incident where I was beat with brass knuckles in junior high school, and my mother had to transfer me to another school to only get beat at that school also without the brass knuckles, if that makes a difference. I still got beat. And there really wasn't nowhere to run to based on my home life was my single mother. Hama, I know you're probably looking at this and you always gave me permission to talk about our rearing. Who was young and really didn't have great parenting skills. Coming from the black community, we have this strong belief of corporal punishment, which, I've learned that it's not the best way to go. And, I took that lesson and tried it with my son, and I realized that's not who I am. I realized that only caused more damage. And I always say that's why the black man is in institutions more highly numbered than non-black people, because of the anger that they suffered at their caregivers' hands. We are conditioned that we must honor thy mother and thy father, and that no matter how unfit they are to be parents, we have to discard who we are as humans to honor them. And again, this is not universal. This has been my experience and my experience in healing. So I had to give myself permission to be angry, because growing up, it was always, you can't be angry at your mother, you can't, yet my mother was an alcoholic and she owned that. My father was absent, and there was just no one to give me guidance, direction, except when there was some type of emergency. Then I was beat. So and this was no matter where I went. As I was getting my higher education, I had a professor tell me that she was amazed that I wanted to help individuals when there was no one there really to help me or keep me safe. She also expressed that it usually makes males harder. And yeah, I've been hard in some situations, particularly in relationships, intimate relationships. So, for some reason, and I know what that is that I feel safer with people that say they love me. So I know this sounds crazy, but then I treat them harshly because I believe that they will leave. So I push them away anyhow. And more times than not, they don't leave. I have to leave because being loved is such an uncomfortable situation for me. So with all that said, I would rather not be anything else but a black man. I've healed from a lot of that. I worked with parole and probation, which was a majority in Baltimore. And I think that helped heal some of my pain. My mother's and my relationship has healed. I've taken responsibility for what's mine and given them the responsibility for what was theirs. And, I learned to create a God of my understanding. That was another thing I struggled with. The religion that a lot of black people have, and again, it's my experience, I felt as though it made excuses for unexcusable behaviors. And today I consider myself as spiritual, meaning that I do have a God of my understanding. I don't today put down religion. I was taught in my higher education that religion should free you, not keep you stuck. And that's been my experience with some of my black brothers and sisters, that they get stuck behind this religion, which is all about dogma and obedience and things like that. And again, I'm not fully faulting for those that it works for. I have a good friend, Curlin. If you're looking at this, I believe religion works for her and other people in my life, but it just wasn't mine. So coming to the end, I want us to just, take a deep breath. Own your experiences. If this bothers you, maybe look at why. Do some journaling, do some praying, mindfulness, deep breathing. Know that you matter at whatever experience you're in right now, because we need to get through this more perfect, more whole, more complete, and more wise. So thank you for taking the time out to listen to my video. There'll be more coming. Thank you so much for, a message or a word or something. Just let me know that you appreciate it, and know that I love you, and we'll get through this together. Take care now. Bye-bye.